Hi, I'm Ellen, a 17-year-old girl. Now, I'm living in a small flat in Chicago with my parents. I'm in my second year at high school. I'm an only child, so I constantly desire for caring from siblings, especially sisterhood. I have a best friend, Kendall. She's my classmate. What happens when a best friend loves the same man? Would you give up your love for someone when you both love each other? Before going deeper into this subject, I want to say something about my relationship status between me and my best friend Kendall before it got worse. About Kendall, she is a pretty girl with big glasses always on her face. An introvert, she's a real bookworm. We met together after 9th grade when I attended a summer camp, so I decided to come closer to her to start a conversation, and we became soulmates. Not aware when I thought that we would never find someone that knew each other well like we did at that time. But nothing lasts forever, and also our friendship. From that day, that was the worst moment in my life that I never want to mention about it. The dark past that I always want to bury it forever in my mind. Via social media, I met Tom, one of the main characters in my story I'll tell. Also my ex. I just randomly sent a friend request and we started a friendship. We kept in touch via phone calls and direct messages for 2 months. We had got a lot in common. We became close pretty quickly. Then we dated and loved each other. He was 4 years older than me and was the first guy I connected with, and my first love. I was only a teenager straight out of secondary school. I actually didn't have any dating experience prior to that time. So dating for me is really interesting, and I fell in love with him too deeply. Since we were best friends, I told everything about Tom to Kendall, the love in my life, someone I cherish so much. How he is so nice, gentle and loving. Kendall said that I'm the luckiest girl, cause my boyfriend treated me so well. After hearing many words from me about Tom, Kendall was very curious about him and wanted to meet him in person. So 3 of them decided to meet at Alice, one of my classmates' birthday party, the week following. At that party, I introduced my boyfriend to Kendall and the opposite. They smiled and greeted each other by shaking hands. After a few hours talking happily, Tom asked for Kendall's Instagram account to follow and added a friend because both of them were fond of photography. I was okay with this because I think it was good when my boyfriend and my best friend became friendly. The relationship among us had been better. Since that party, 3 of us even went camping together about 3 or 4 times. 3 weeks later, I saw that Kendall was mostly on call or chatting, sometimes looking at the phone screen and smiling very happily. I just simply thought that maybe Kendall was chatting with her crush. Curiously, I tried to ask her about that, but she constantly avoided my questions. Kendall realized that I was looking at her phone. She suddenly turned it off and looked frightened. I saw no problems with it. Everyone needs some privacy. I had no doubts about it. For me, I usually spend most of my free time on calls or chatting with Tom, but at that time, about 4 weeks after that birthday party at Alice's place, I observed he was always reluctant to speak to me. He was either busy with work or he had a meeting. There was just always one excuse or the other. At first, I didn't see anything wrong or trying to think he got stressed at work. But then I began to feel more and more doubtful. He became irritable when I asked him simple things, even when I showed my affection to him. But he also sometimes smiled alone while chatting with someone on the phone, like Kendall. I even remembered one time, Tom once asked me about Kendall's stuff. He was pretty excited, unlike when I tried to show my love to him. On a winter day, I came over and stayed at Tom's home for dinner. I was sitting on the sofa when Tom was making dinner in the kitchen. Then his phone got the message notifications. Curiously, I went to check who was sending him, and surprisingly, that was Kendall. I read all their texts. In the messages, Kendall always showed how she admired him, and they mostly talked about their favorite subject in a happy way, and sometimes sent lovely emojis to each other. She even invited Tom for a coffee. More than that, Kendall, she maybe also had a boyfriend recently. She always Came home late, dressed better than before. Mentally, I was empty for a few minutes and thought there is something not quite right about their relationship and those texts. But I still trusted my friendship and my love. I thought maybe I was just overtired and thinking too much. 1 week later, on Tom's birthday, he organized a party at home with some close friends. Certainly, me and Kendall were invited. We really enjoyed it, drank and had so much fun. While having fun, I spilled a drink all over my jacket. So I went to Tom's room. When I was looking for something to change clothes, I saw a sparkling gift box with a bow outside. I was very curious how it looked inside, so I opened it. The first thing that caught my eyes was a man's wristwatch, and there were some pictures underneath. Oh my fucking god, I couldn't believe my eyes. Isn't that Tom and Kendall? They looked very fun. These two had even kissed. I was in shock. Suddenly I heard someone was trying to open the door, so I quickly hid in the closet, and the scene that was taking place made me even more shocked. Tom and Kendall were kissing. They even said sweetness to each other. I had tears rolling down my cheeks. My heart broke into millions of pieces when I saw them, and I couldn't stand anymore, so I opened the closet door, decided to unmask their real face. They were terrified when they saw me. They just stood there in panic. I was so angry, felt betrayed, and gave a slap to each of them. I asked them what they did. Kendall said they even slept together. Not just this one. The craziest thing is Kendall's not even apologized to me. She just thought falling in love with someone was never wrong and she trusted her choice. Damn, she's definitely bitchy. I couldn't believe that she could say those words. She was no longer my friend that I always adored. About Tom, he said that she didn't have anything to say. I fell into despair once more. 2 days later, we arranged to meet up in a cafe to clarify things. But one thing that I never expected, Kendall was like a different person. She didn't look any guilty. She even said unimaginable words that made me fell apart. Kendall admitted that she is not as good as everyone thought. She said she's loved Tom since the first sight and always wanted to get him. She seemed very proud when uttering those words. She's truly thick-skinned. Everything she had shown before was fake. She just pretended like she didn't care about him in my presence. She even said that Tom thought I was too naive, believed others easily. He only used me from the beginning. I felt like an idiot. I didn't realize I was cheated on for a long time. As the lightning struck overhead, I had no idea what to do next. I was really speechless. I was betrayed by the people I have trusted most. There is someone who I consider as my true sister and is also the only person who has hurt me a lot. They were even too much for publishing photos of them online just a few days. After that day, I couldn't bear it any longer. I was angry. I felt used for a while now. I was stressed and fell into despair. After knowing that truth, I locked myself in my room for 5 days. I didn't want to go outside or meet anyone else. I didn't know why they treated me that way. They had been sneaking around behind my back. I was very ignorant at that time. Of course, our relationship couldn't be saved, so we decided to break up, go our separate ways. My relationship with Tom and Kendall ended forever after that moment. I even got into a fight with her, but I didn't feel comfortable after doing that. Now, they still love each other, but I guess that it won't last forever. They deserve to be punished. I told myself to bury the forgotten memory forever. As time passed by, I overcame my shock. Now it is the past. I'm concentrating on my career. I always believe if I lose something and there will be a better one waiting for me. To be honest, every time that someone mentioned it, I still feel a little hurt again.